Hello and welcome back, guys, to Sound of Manchester. This is your host Prathamesh, and joining me today is Atharif, Nihar, and Naved. Despite our not so good a start to 2020, I think we at Sound of Manchester are very optimistic as we look on to the preview of the EFL Cup semi-final first leg at Old Trafford against Manchester City. We would like to first start with what we feel were the positives against Wolverhampton in the nil-nil draw away from home. Nihar, what would you think were the positives against Wolves?
The Wolves result, I take it pretty positive. Going away at Molineux and coming back with a draw and taking them back to Old Trafford. We look confident with equal or slightly more possession in the game than we usually do. We had plenty of shots, though the end product was lacking. And the creativity was on point. And Maguire was especially pretty damn good, and Williams too. They shut off Traore pretty well. And the main positive was we looked even more threatening after Fred and Rashford came on. Obviously, Rashford was getting into those spaces and he got that shot, which obviously Cody blocked pretty well.
Yes, Nihar. What do you make of Nemanja Matic and his probably slight little bit of resurgence and which we saw against Wolverhampton?
Matic seemed pretty well. He mostly used his experience. He was like positionally he was pretty good. First, he kept off Ashley Seal quite quite for the most of the first half. Then was good against Jimenez too. Uh, and especially he's a physical threat with our corners, which we have been pretty bad at converting. So I think Matic should be a decent addition.
Yes, Matic does seem to be slightly getting into his groove, which we saw when he first signed for United. Uh, when we look about Manchester City game at Old Trafford, obviously we come back of a busy December schedule and a January which might have not started so well. But the EFL Cup is probably United's only chance of silverware this season, and we might look to field a strong team. And Atharv, what do you feel regarding this?
I believe first of all we don't have that luxury of quality squad rotation. So, but that doesn't matter. And you know what match or which tournament, there are certain players that we are definitely going to see playing all the matches. So, I feel to start with, De Gea will simply not be dropped by Ole, and he'll be starting in goal, despite a solid performance from Romero against Wolves. Then I feel our defense line might look like Aaron Van Bissaka on the right with Lindelof and Jones as our centre backs. I doubt Maguire will be able to make it in the squad considering the knock that he picked up against Wolves. Though he did see out the whole game without being substituted. Um, let's see what the scans reveal, as Ole said. Also, the reason I said Jones because Tuanzebe, I guess, has been injured or ill, I guess, and he hasn't played for us since Colchester, and he didn't even make the bench in the next 5-6 games. Then at left back again, I feel Luke Shaw will be given the go ahead over Brandon Williams, though I would love to see Brandon Williams starting. And to be honest, based on the current form, I'd prefer even Ashley Young should be starting over Luke Shaw. And then coming to our injury-stricken midfield, I don't see us having much options, and it'll be a midfield of I guess Matic, Pereira, and Fred, who have been pretty decent individually, but still our midfield has been kind of non-existent. One change that I feel might take place is Lingard coming in for Pereira, but we should be starting Pereira over Lingard if we wish to see something. If we plan to create something, and if you don't plan to start your game already one man down, and then coming to our attackers, I don't think there will be any changes, and our front line might look like Rashford, Marshall, and James with Greenwood surely being involved, but only as a substitute. And I guess both the sides will be fielding a strong team. Like they will plan to go into the second leg with a lead. I believe we should capitalize on this since it's a home game, and as you yourself said, there's that, like, it is a tournament that we can think of winning.
Yes, it is definitely a tournament that we should rather win. At the same point, don't you feel that considering it's a home leg, that Manchester United might go for a back five? They don't want to concede an away goal, and at the same time, do you see Juan Mata starting after the Wolves game? Because I think he had quite an impact against Wolves. But do you see him starting in place of either Pereira or Lingard, or do you see a back five playing for United in the game?
Yeah, we might see Mata start for the creativity factor, but then considering the fact that we are only scoring goals on counter attack, so I guess Mata is someone who slows it down. So he might not go with Mata. And what I have seen is that Mata has not been involved in the big games, and he's only playing the the small games for us, like in the FA Cup or in the in the League Cup. So I don't think Mata might be involved, and I guess from some time we also haven't seen the back five thing, so we might not go for that as well. That's what I feel.
Yes, Athav rightly said. I do feel that Juan Mata has been not much involved in the big games, but you never know if Ole might just unleash him in the City game. We do need that creativity and the vision that Mata does have in this game. Talking about opponents, Manchester City, they have been the champions of the EFL Cup for the last 2 seasons. We all know the threat that they possess. As Ole said, that is a team that can pass you to death. And Naved, what do you think a team that is going to pass us to that has in its locker, and what kind of lineup do you expect from Manchester City?
Yeah, I mean that is quite a funny statement to make by Ole because I remember Van Gaal's team also passed teams to death, but they also passed their own fans to death as well. But Guardiola's team, on the other hand, actually pass with intent and purpose. They move the ball much faster than as we saw earlier with Van Gaal or other teams. And I think they're on their full strength right now. They almost everyone else other than Leroy Sané and Laporte are available and fit. But in terms of the lineup, I think Bravo will start because Edison is still on his red card. On at right back, I think we would see Walker returning after 2 games. I think he's been rested, and I think he probably was rested thinking of this game of the Manchester derby. I think we might see the youngster Eric Garcia, who's pretty highly rated in the Man City setup, starting as well because Otamendi is still unfit and he faces a race to get fit as is reported by Guardiola. And the other centre back I think would be Fernandinho with Zinchenko at left back. I think he'll still stick with Zinchenko over Mendy because we've seen him trust Zinchenko a lot more over the past season as well, and he's just coming back from fitness, and I think he played the last game pretty well as well. So I think he'll still continue him over there. In terms of the midfield, I think he always goes for midfield three. So I think Rodri will still take his position in front of the back four, and outside of him, I think would be Gundogan and De Bruyne with the new role that De Bruyne is in, where he gets a lot of freedom and where he's playing almost as a number 10, but uh, he's just unbelievable as we've all seen. With the front three, I think he'll stick to Bernardo, Sterling, and Aguero. I think that is probably his strongest front three, and I think they're all fit and firing right now. Maybe he might start Mahrez in place of Bernardo because Bernardo struggled against United last time out. But with how I've seen him trust Bernardo over the past few seasons, I still think he'll go with Bernardo, Aguero, and Sterling as his front three.
Yeah, that sounds about City's best side that can take the pitch, and it does seem likely that there's a chance that they're going to put that team on the pitch. Although I think there will be slight questions over whether it would be Gundogan who will be starting, or would they go with Bernardo, Rodri, and Kevin De Bruyne in midfield. But I think they might not want to be that adventurous in midfield, considering what happened last time out at the Etihad. So I have a feeling myself, just like Naved, that they might start Gundogan. But at the same time, Riyad Mahrez has been playing well this season, so it's a race between it's a tough call between him and Bernardo Silva for Pep Guardiola to make, and I think he might start the game with Bernardo, and probably as the game wears on, he might introduce Mahrez so that his directness can actually trouble a tired left back at the end of the game. And yes, I think it does seem a pretty strong Manchester City lineup that is going to come to Old Trafford, and it's going to be very difficult to beat this Manchester City team. I think we would like to take a moment to notice that Marcus Rashford just a few hours back won the PFA Player of the Month for December. I think he has been one of the most consistent players this season. He has scored 16 goals in all competitions this season, which is quite a huge return considering what he was returning until the end of last season. So it's been quite a phenomenal effort. I think I would like to hear from. I think I would like to start with Athar and hear about what he has to say regarding Rashford and his improvement this season.
Yeah, definitely. He's having the best season of his life this time around, and he rightly deserves the award. And but I still feel that there is so much more potential, and there is, like, he can do so much better. He could have easily had at least 7, 8 goals more than what he has right now. Just a bit of maturity and a better decision making would easily help him achieve those numbers.
Yes, I think one of the key things that makes him so motivated to play for United is that he's born and brought up wanting to play for Manchester United. He supported the club since he was young. He's a Manchester born player, so I think that really goes a long way, doesn't it, Nihar? What do you think about that?
Yes, that it's he probably grew up watching the likes of Rooney and Ronaldo. He idolizes them, so he's like what we saw from early flashes of Ronaldo. His development has been similar. I won't stretch it to the limit that saying he would go on to be what he is, which at this point seems impossible. But you see, Rashford, what he was criticized for a couple of years previous to this, he has seemed to remove that selfishness. His decision making can improve, but he likes to get other players involved, like James and Martial. He has got 5 assists this season, along with his goals too. So that's one huge improvement in his game.
Yes, I think his decision making has definitely improved, hasn't it? He's looked a more assured player this season, and apart from it, I think his finishing has slightly improved. He's been confident from the spot. He's been confident with his free kick taking abilities. I think we saw probably the best goal of the season against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Naveed, what do you think are the things which Rashford could potentially improve upon to become an even better player, which obviously all of us want him to become?
I think first things first is he also needs better players around him and behind him. I think if he had better players behind him, he would be a much better player. He would score a lot more goals. But in terms of improvement as well, I think he can improve scoring those simple goals, those simple tap-ins that he doesn't really score. But then again, now he himself has come out and said that his favorite position is from the left-hand side. So I'm not sure if we would see him score 30, 40 goals a season if from the left, because of course it's much more difficult to score that many amount of goals from the left unless you're someone like Messi, or probably if you can become as good as how Salah was last season. It's really difficult to score 40 odd goals from the left hand side. As he's come out and said that that's where he's play for, that's where he wants to play from. I think he's on the right path to become a very, very good left forward, right in the molds of players like someone like Mane, who's very fast on the break, very quick on the ball, and his decision making as well can improve a bit. But yeah, I think they'll improve with time and with a better team.
Yeah, and as I think many people said that Marcus Rashford is a scorer of great goals, and we do hope that he also becomes a great goal scorer at the same point. So I think yes, congratulations to Marcus on his achievement, and I really hope personally, being a big Marcus Rashford fan myself, that he goes on to become a better player than what he is, and also that he keeps on churning out these kind of performances to put United back where they were. So I think now, talking about back where they were, we should come back to talking about the game that we have on our hands, the Manchester Derby for the semi-final first leg, and our predictions for the game. So I would like to start with Athar. What do you feel that Old Trafford has in store on this Tuesday night game?
Well, I believe we'll be surely looking for a win, considering the fact that it's our home game. We will look to capitalize on it and would go into the second leg with a lead. So I guess I'll go for a 2-1 win for Manchester United.
Yeah, I think definitely a lead is what we would absolutely love at Old Trafford. Nihar, what do you feel this United team can conjure up against Manchester City?
I'd say it'd be a 2-all draw, even though we'll go for the win because Maguire, our main centre back, seems to be offish without injury. Even if he's back, it will have some effect on him.
Yeah, I think he's been a leader at the back, even if he hasn't performed. But I think he's been vocal enough, and I think he's led well from the back. Naved, what do you think that the potential threat that City actually possesses at Old Trafford? Do you feel that that threat can be negated by United, and actually we can get on to go and get a positive result, or do you think it's more likely that City is going to win the game?
Yeah, I think of course we can negate them as we've seen us do it earlier as well. But I think this time City will be a bit more smart about how they approach this game. I don't know if United have something else up their sleeve because I think City do. I'm not sure if we can play another way of other than just running in spaces, running behind the ball, just sitting back and playing the odd counter attack. Because we tried to do it against Arsenal, but we failed, and Arsenal did stifle us. So I would expect City to do that as well, and which is why I think we would have a one-all draw at this stage. And yeah,
Yes, I personally myself feel that it would be a 2-2 draw at Old Trafford. I think just like Nihar, I feel uh, it's going to be a difficult game for us, and we have to make it difficult for Manchester City. But I think they have too good an attacking threat to possess, and at the same time, we have a good counter attacking threat. So let's just hope for the best and hope that we win. Thank you, Naved, Nihar, as well as Athar, for joining the podcast today. This is your host Prathamesh signing off. Thank you for watching Sound of Manchester. Please like, share, and subscribe. And please keep on giving your love for Sound of Manchester. Thank you, guys.